Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shooting Show, and we certainly want to welcome you to today's program. You know what, friends? It is absolutely a beautiful fall afternoon. So many of us are thinking about going in the woods. Heck with it. Some of us will be shooting black powder. Some of us may be shooting some 308s and 223s or 7mm magnums at deer. Or some of us may be hunting with handguns like this Ruger Blackhawk. But you know what? Afternoons like this in the woods as hunters is going to become an endangered situation. Endangered because as the wheels are turning now, the New World Order, the people that want to take everything away from us that goes bang, if they can have their way, there won't be any more hunting, there won't be any guns out among civilians like us, there won't be any more. Because if we don't reach more Americans, they're going to take them away. I've said this, been said probably hundreds of times by now, friends. The fight is not off somewhere in the future. It's not off on the horizon. It's here right now. The fight for our freedom, the fight for our rights as gun owners is here today. It's here right now. What are we going to do about it? Well, one of the things we have to do, we have to stand up for our rights as patriotic Americans, as gun owners. We have to. One of the ways that you can help is to help support this project. We're on today in part because of your contributions. And please, we ask you to support our sponsors. If you see someone advertising on our program, if you need anything like that, please remember our sponsors first, because it is so important that they get a reaction from you, the viewing audience. Well, friends, we have a great show for you today, and just remember, I don't know how long, the way things are currently going in the political climate, how long we'll be able to say we can even have these guns in our homes. Right now in Washington State, they're wondering whether or not the citizens need to be licensed or not to have guns in their homes. Wait a minute, friends. It's not a privilege given to us by the government. It is a right that we as Americans have. We had it before the Constitution. We had the right of self-defense before the first word in the Constitution was written. The Constitution only affirmed that right. And you know what? If we don't stand now, you don't have to worry, because it will be taken away. If you would like to help us stay on the air, you certainly can by sending whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. Our phone number, area 318-377-5189. Honestly, friends, we need your help, because you know what? This television program can and is making a difference. We're working toward a gun-friendly network. We'll see what happens. We're darn sure, regardless of what happens, no one can say we didn't try as hard as we could. See, no one can say we didn't give it all we had. Please join us. Please work with us. Well, let's go on with our program today. We have a couple of water bottles. Some of the anti-gun people would say a little revolver like this Ruger 41 Magnum, this Blackhawk here, which is a small handgun. In fact, very little larger, if any, in a total package as to a 1911, which is certainly not a large handgun. And these can be terrific hunting revolvers. They can also be terrific fun guns, even pressed into service for self-defense. So we have a couple of water bottles out here. We have at 100 yards, and let's see what our Ruger 41 Magnum Blackhawk looks like out here on our water bottles. Friends, a lot of us are going to be hunting and shooting black powder. It is a lot of fun. The only problem in shooting black powder is the proverbial cleanup. And if you already have a black powder gun, you know what I'm talking about. But it sure is fun. Trust me, friends, these things can be very accurate and be a lot of fun. But you know, as soon as you shoot that black powder, you have immediately got to clean these guns. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spray this gun down, because I don't have time to shoot this, to clean it tonight. Just shoot it. I want to shoot it again a time or two. But since we don't have time, and we're going to go ahead and just spray it down. I'm not going to boil the barrel out, anything like that with water. I'm going to spray it real good with our fluid film. I'm going to leave it overnight. I'm going to spray the bore real well, and I'm going to leave it overnight, and I promise you it is not going to be rusted. So this could be one of the great discoveries for black powder shooting. It will make maintenance so much simpler. And if you can't or you don't have time to clean it, at the end of your day on the range, you can go ahead and just spray it down real good. Just drench it in fluid film, and you don't have to worry about it. It'll be in good shape when you do get to properly clean it. And certainly fluid film is an excellent cleaner to go ahead with. This is terrific stuff. Now friends, you'll notice, of course, it's this morning out here. And what we did after we shot our black powder gun, I went ahead and I sprayed it down with fluid film. And I certainly we want to have an honest test here. I ran a couple of patches down the barrel, coated with fluid film. I sprayed some down the barrel. I want to be sure that all the fouling was covered, that I want to be sure that it could do its job by getting into the metal, preventing corrosion. And let's see what happens today. Like I said, I ran a couple of patches down it yesterday. Of course, they came out very black. And our premise here is that even with the corrosive properties of black powder, which are pretty severe, this fluid film is going to take care of it. Now let's see. Now remember on last week's program, when I took my 1911, I unloaded, of course, I had taken it down and treated it fully inside and out with our fluid film protectorant there and lubricant, and put it in the bucket of water there. Took it out, shot it here on the program, and instead of cleaning it, I took it on back to the shop and left it wet overnight. Well, the next day, I took the gun down completely. I took it, all the small parts, the magazine release. I even took out the, dismantled the recoils or the mainspring assembly there. You know what? There wasn't a spot of rust on this gun anywhere. Not a single spot of rust. And that's pretty severe treatment. As I was saying, if you get your gun wet out on the hunt, or your shotgun happens to get water there on it in the duck blind, or even if it's submerged, if it's treated with fluid film, you're not going to have to immediately clean it. You don't have to worry about your gun rusting and ruining. You can wait till you get home and clean it real well. I'll tell you what, friends, this stuff is used on the space shuttle, on some of the control hinges there on the space shuttle. Delta Airlines have been using it for about 15 years. It just has not been available to us here in the consumer market. Well, let's find out. We have some clean white patches here, flannel patches, and let's in fact see what it looks like. Our gun, like I said, has been sitting overnight, and let's see what it's going to do. Well, that's a dirty patch, of course. Has a little black powder fouling. I got a lot of the fouling out by my couple of initial passes yesterday. In fact, let's take a paper towel. I'm going to put our cleaning patches down here. But I tell you what, there is no brown, there is not a single telltale sign of rust. And I am very, very pleased about that, actually. Like I said, we're not going to misrepresent something. The last thing in the world we want to happen is you folks buy something from us here off the program, or buy something that we show on the program, and then I don't want a nasty phone call saying, well, Johnny, that didn't work. Well, I don't want to hear that. I'd rather let you have something that for real worked. All I see is some black powder and just some soot and lubricant combined with soot. Again, no rust. Absolutely no rust. All right, let's check here on our hammer, and around we sprayed this really well, and we're going to clean it, and we should find some black powder fouling, which we have, but rust will show up. Those of you that shoot black powder guns know what I'm talking about. Rust will show up really quickly in a matter of hours if you don't immediately perform some maintenance on these black powder guns. Again, powder fouling, no rust. Let's clean out our hammer here, the cup on the hammer. I see plenty of lubricant here, of course. Fouling and no rust. Take another Q-tip there. I'll tell you what, friends, needless to say, I am impressed. We've got a piece of cap there stuck in the, which ought to be a good test. We have a little piece of a brass cap stuck here in the hammer. Get that out. That's great. Like I said, friends, this is pretty fantastic if you ask me. There's not a speck of rust anywhere on this gun. Let's take a closer look here at our patches and just show you what came out of it. See here, friends, that is just a patch with lubricant and some black powder. There is no rust whatsoever on these patches. That is terrific performance from our fluid film. Now, friends, I'm convinced, and I've never seen any lubricant this good. I've never seen a lubricant with the staying power and the conditions that this will function under are just off the chart. It's better than anything we have ever come across. So if you're a black powder shooter or a regular shooter, or maybe you want to use this on your tools there around the house, a lot of us have tools that we'll put up and we'll spray it with some kind of lubricant and come back a few months later and it's all rusted up. This stuff does not dry up. If you would like, what we're going to do here on the program, we're going to have a package deal on fluid film lubricant. This is a small bottle here. We're going to make 2 of the large 11 3/4 ounce bottles available in a package, including shipping, for $19.95. And for most of us, that'll be a couple of years worth, believe me. Of course, you're going to find a lot of stuff because you can use it on leather and all kinds of things that we showed last week. But we think that's a good deal because this little can here will go 4 or 5 times as far as the regular size can that we're used to seeing of that, some of the popular penetrating oil, popular lubricant cans. So what we're going to do, make 2 of the large cans, 11 3/4 ounce cans, available to you for $19.95. And all the profits we make on this go toward keeping our program on the air. So what you can do, send $19.95 and a note or put it on your check or money order to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Again, $19.95. That includes packaging and shipping for 2 of the large bottles, 11 3/4 ounce bottles of fluid film. One, you can help us stay on the air, and trust me on this one, you will be so glad that you got this stuff because this is the best oil we have ever encountered. So again, $19.95 fluid film. Send to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code 71024. And we can ship this immediately. When we get your check, we'll ship it. So, all right, something that I think is one of, you know, it's not new. Heck, it's been around 50 years. It really can help us as shooters in so many different ways.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today.
Friends, here it is, great Georgia Arms ammunition. Notice these ballistic tip nodular bullets in this Georgia Arms ammunition. You see, this is equivalent to a box of 20 for only $7.95. Now, friends, that is a terrific price for essentially custom-loaded ammunition. Of course, for the plain full metal jacket, it is much less expensive. Here's another tremendous bag of Georgia Arms ammunition, 7mm Remington Magnum, 20 rounds, only $17.95, loaded with these premium Nosler ballistic tips. I tell you, this is custom ammunition at a discount price. Tell you what, friends, the good people at Georgia Arms do understand what's going on in this country. They understand how important our gun rights are, and they're supporting us on this project. The good news is you can get absolutely superior ammunition at discount prices, whether you have a handgun or a rifle. If you want to take that big hunt, you can afford to practice with your rifle as well as use that same ammunition on the hunt because they are so reasonably priced. These are some of the nicest people we have ever met in this business, bar none, and they're down in beautiful Villa Rica, Georgia. So please, friends, if you would, you can get a free catalog with a free phone call. That's as good as the deal gets. A free catalog, free phone call, 1-800-624-6861. Again, Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. And please tell them you saw it here on our shooting show. Now, friends, what we're going to do today, you know, we've been talking about the 41 Magnum on the last program or so. We're going to do a comparison between the 41 Magnum and the 357 on today's program that I think you'll find interesting. Now, friends, we have a 357 Magnum here, and we have a 41 Magnum. And also here we have a 40 Smith & Wesson, which is becoming quite the rage among some of the shooting enthusiasts and certainly among the police. But as of yet, we have not bettered the stopping power of the 357. And I'm thinking we may be able to do that with the 41 Magnum with a proper load. One of the complaints the 357 has is it has a lot of bark and bite as far as the shooter goes. It's a little bit difficult to control in recoil for some people. But most of us who are somewhat experienced shooters can control it pretty easily. Well, for my way of thinking, that 357 bullet, the 125 grain jacketed hollow point, is just a little bit light for a lot of different applications. Well, we're going to look at a combination or two for the 41 Magnum that I think will be very useful to a lot of us. Friends, here's a 357 Magnum bullet, the 125 grain jacketed hollow point, which is very popular, and the 170 grain 41 Magnum, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in the size of the two bullets there. There's just quite a bit more to this 41 caliber bullet. Now, friends, what we're going to look at here is a comparison, and I really don't think a lot of us have appreciated the 41 Magnum for what it is. Now, the 41 has been known for a long time as a superior hunting type bullet, but you know what? It was originally envisioned by our good friend Bill Jordan and Skeeter Skelton and Elmer Keith as a super defensive round. It was envisioned as a police officer's round for people to use at home defense. Now, I'm not sure why Remington came along and made a load that was essentially darn near a 44 Magnum in its power. Now, the 44 will do more because you have a greater range of bullet weights out there. The 44 is capable of more power than the 41. But that's not what we're concerned about. We're concerned about making a better defensive round. Like I said, the 357 is a terrific cartridge, a terrific round, but in recent years, and I say recent years, probably since the 1950s, even 1960s, the 357 has been loaded down by the factories. And whatever their reasons are for that, I don't know. They're certainly concerned about the strength of a lot of guns out there. But, so the 357 is not what it was originally intended to be. And bear in mind that the original 357 from 1935 was a 158 grain bullet out of an 8 3/8 inch Smith & Wesson, supposedly running 1,550 feet per second. Well, I had a conversation with J.D. Jones the other day, and he said the originals actually would perform in that range, but it's been a long time since we've seen anything from a factory, and honestly, I haven't been able to hand load anything up to approaching that power level in today's modern guns. Well, guess what? Here's the 41 Magnum, which, by the way, is in the 6-inch version. It's the only version Smith & Wesson is making right now. We're talking to them about coming with a 4-inch, a lighter barrel model, 4-inch model, but it is roughly the same size as the 686 with a 6-inch barrel in the 357. And the end frames are super durable. What we're going to demonstrate here is in comparison to the ease of shootability of the 41 with our new defensive load that we're working on and the 357, because our defensive load, we're talking about taking a 170 grain bullet, and you can see it there in comparison to the 357 125 grain bullet, and running it at about 1,250 or so feet per second from a 4-inch barrel. It still has more muzzle energy than the 357. You've got a bigger bullet. It is going to hold together better than a 357 bullet moving at, say, 1,400, 1,350, 1,400 feet per second, and we think will be a much better option for a lot of us as police officers that want to carry the 41, or as homeowners who want to use the 41 Magnum for home defense. In the full Magnum loading, the 41 is pretty violent to shoot. But hey, let's back it down. We're still going to be light years ahead, or a long way ahead, of the very best loading in 40 Smith & Wesson. So the 40 is very popular. It's easy to shoot, but hey, a 22 long rifle is even easier than that. So certainly what we're doing here is giving another option to you, the homeowner, and you, the police officer, that may have one of these great 41 Magnum revolvers there for you to carry or for home defense. So what we've got, and we're working with Georgia Arms right now on this particular load, and we may wind up with 2 loadings, because one, you know, Buford Pusser, the legendary lawman, if those of you who've seen the Walking Tall movies, J.D. Jones was telling me the other day that Buford Pusser carried a 41. They even made Buford some special high-performance 41 Magnum ammunition, and if there was ever a man whose life was on the line, of course he was killed in a car wreck a few years ago, but he really had to defend his life and had a very difficult time enforcing the law. So we may have a Buford high-performance load, and then we may have our home defense load. So let's see how it looks. First of all, we've got our pro timer on here. We're going to run a quick 5 shots of our defensive 41 Magnum, the special loading we're working on, and the 357. So let's see an actual time of rapid fire. Let's see what it looks like today. Go ahead, I'll get in position, finger on the trigger, press our timer will start me at its own convenience. So here we go. Okay, 1.38 seconds, including my reaction time. And look at our group size. Now friends, it took me 1.35 seconds in the 41. So I think that is a tremendous performance. Look at how easy it was to control in a fairly good time. Okay friends, let's move over a little bit to try the same drill with our 357 Magnum and see what it does. Well, check this out. My friends, check this out. 1.36 seconds. And believe me, I'm not sandbagging. We're just trying to show what works here. And a similar size group for the 357. The guns are similar size weight, but you know what? The holes over here are bigger than they are here. And you had more power with the 41, our defensive load from the 41. It's just as easy to shoot as a 357, and you get more performance per bang there. Friends, what we have is sort of something similar to an IDPA course. Actually, we're going to shoot 6 shots. We're going to shoot this target twice. We're going to turn and shoot this target once because it's very close to us. We have a target over here, and back there beside the large frame we also have our steel disc. Our steel disc will be the last one we'll shoot. So we'll shoot this one twice, bang, bang. Shoot this one once, bang, bang, bang. 6 shots. And you know, friends, only hits count. So we can come out here and blast away, but whether you've got 1 shot in your gun or you've got 20 shots in your gun, if you don't hit anything, if you don't hit the designated area of the target zone, you've done nothing at all. You've just made a loud noise and maybe injured or endangered someone else. So let's do that now. We have our timer, we have our 357 loaded, and let's just see what it looks like. Let's compare the 2 guns, 357 against the 41 with our defensive load. See what happens. This one twice, that one once. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. We'll start from the low ready position, like so. Okay, let's take a look at our hits. I did that drill in 4.12 seconds. Now friends, this is what I was seeing over these sights on the revolver on the first target. We shot this one twice, had 2 good hits, and then we went over to this one. We had a good hit here, and walking over here, it looks like our hit there is good, and here is good, and we shot our steel disc to end it. Of course, a 357 is a terrific gun to use for home defense or police work or for a whole lot of things, but let's see how our 41 fares. Remember, that was in 4.12 seconds. Let's check our 41 now. Now friends, what you're looking at here is the great Browning 1919 machine gun converted to semi-automatic by our good friends out at NWI. If you can own a semi-automatic rifle, you can own this 1919 Browning, which is belt-fed, tripod-mounted. Also, they have the shoulder stock model, the A6 model, that is also available. And let me tell you what else. Here is a 22 long rifle cartridge. All right. Now we have a 30-06 rifle cartridge, which is the chambering this gun is in. And they're now being offered, a version of this gun is being offered in the 50 Browning. Now talk about your ultimate fun gun. And the good news is NWI has a special purchase on 50 Browning ammunition. You can actually afford to shoot the gun. Trust me, friends, these guns will not be available forever. If you're interested in one for historical purposes or just a fun gun, give NWI a call today. Their number is area 503-429-5001. Again, area 503-429-5001, and please tell them that you saw it here on our program.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
right, friends, we've taped our targets. Got our drill here. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, we have our defensive load in, our 41 Magnum, our 657, and let's see what it does. Go ahead and press our timer. Low ready position. Okay, 4.14 seconds. So I was only 2/100ths away, and who knows what that could have been, anything, but I was not, in other words, didn't give up anything. Let's take a look at our targets. Now here it is, friends, 4.14, and let's take a look at our hits. Now friends, here's our 41 Magnum, and let's see. We had 2 good hits here. Yes, in fact. And come over here to this. Yes, we had another good hit here. And go out and look at this target. Yes, we did. We had a good hit on that target. And let's move to this next one here. Sure enough, get back in tight on it. Good hit there, and of course we hit our steel disc. So friends, we're only talking about 2/100ths, and that might have just been the way I moved my mouth or something for that amount of difference for our 41. Now friends, since we're here just for fun, some of you be saying, yeah, well, if I was using a semi-automatic, you'd do a lot better. Well, that's not necessarily true. Let's see just how well I run with my 1911 using full charge defensive ammunition that I actually carry in the gun. Let's see what it looks like in the same amount of time. Let's check our hits. Go ahead and do it. Roll ready position, punch our timer. Well, guess what? Guess what? Let's go ahead and put our gun up there. It's on safe, of course. We had all good hits, but 4.29. So I was just being sure, you know, only hits count. It's you can't miss fast enough. Let's take a quick look. Friends, with my 1911, I had 2 good hits here. Had another good hit out here, and also on this target here had a good hit here within the circle. And let's come over to this one here. Yes, in fact, however, I was a little bit slower. I was 4.29 seconds with the 1911, which shows that there's no real advantage in the real world if you've got a good quality revolver or semi-automatic and good ammunition as to what you can do with it. Now friends, this whole test is not about you going out and selling your 357 Magnum, because the 357 is a very fine gun. But we just wanted to point out that, one, the 41 has such a tremendous capability. It gives up nothing, especially with this new version of the 41 Magnum cartridge we're working with Georgia Arms on. In fact, if you would like to know more about this new defensive load, which is a little stronger than a 357 and just as easy, certainly in my impression, just as easy to shoot. If you're a police officer and you're looking for something with a bigger cartridge, more power than the 40 Smith & Wesson, you like revolvers, you want more power than the 357, but you don't want to go way up in recoil, well, I think that Georgia Arms with our new defensive load will really have an answer. You might give them a call and ask them about it, give them your opinion. And also with the 41 Magnum, you still have the option of the Buford Pusser commemoratives. You still have the option of the super-powered 41 Magnum cartridge if you want to go on and shoot the full-powered stuff. Yes. You know, friends, these firearms are very important as far as our ability to defend our home, certainly our well-being. But you know what else? We need all the information that we can possibly get. And let me show you something. Our good friends out at the American Freedom Network are selling this tremendous tape called Waco, The Rules of Engagement. And honestly, friends, you have tape here. I don't know how the producer of this film got some of this tape footage, because some of it is actually from U.S. government sources, tape that the government agents were shooting for their own use. Remember that at the time of the Waco raid, the ATF was about to come up for their monetary or their fiscal allotment for the year, and they wanted to do something to really make themselves look good. They also wanted to scare all of us as gun owners, and certainly there are some decent ATF agents in the field, but the leadership in Washington is not good at all in our estimation. The ATF, FBI, so many. Well, just look, start with the president down. I mean, and her husband. You know, I mean, what you going to talk about? Anyway, the whole point of this is there's information on this Waco tape, and it has gotten terrific views. It is more like a docu-movie. In fact, let's show a little clip right now of this movie, Waco, The Rules of Engagement.
About a minute after the front fireball Thibodeau saw, another armored vehicle drives up to the rear of the crushed gymnasium and also pulls away. A few seconds later, survivor Derek Lovelock says a fireball raced from the rear of Mount Carmel to the front, igniting everything in its path.
At this point, the back of the gym was thoroughly destroyed, and it greatly disturbed me. At that point, I'd lost all hope. At 12 o'clock, someone yelled from the upstairs that there was a fire. The front, I could not get to the front because of what the tanks had come in, the stairwell that was closest to the front, so I went to the stairwell in the back. Because I'm thinking the kids, I'm thinking Serenity C. Jones, I was thinking of Isaiah and Joseph, some of these kids that I've come to know and love. I get up there, and there was a catwalk that was leading over the rafters of the church area. I walked to the front, I got to a blanket, I opened the blanket up, and a wall of flame shoots down the hallway in front of my face down to the other end of the building. It was the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. I'm a drummer, and it was incredibly loud. I could not hear anything else other than this flame.
Well, do you know personally how the fire started?
No.
The place is beginning to fill up with black smoke, and me and Scott were stood there by the stairs, and there was this kind of ball of fire with a tremendous heat, which caused us to jump back out of the way. And it came from across. It came as if it came from the gym area across this way, but like it come from the gym, but across that way, across our path.
It is believed the fireball that Derek Lovelock said he saw started here with this flash.
That flash was so bright that the operator of the FLIR thought it was so significant that he decided to fix his cursor in that area to remind him or other people looking at the tape that there was a very significant flash in the window. When we see it in slow motion and we see the flash, it appears to be a single flash, but it is not a single flash. It's actually two flashes. We get a primary flash and a secondary flash, and both of these flashes last about 1/2 second each. And they're most likely detonations inside the building itself.
Now, if some of you just saw this flash here, that is a momentary event. In my opinion, that's a reflection due to sunlight reflecting off some object in that debris.
Sunlight reflections would show up as a flash on regular film that records light. But according to FLIR experts, reflections don't generate enough heat to create a flash on infrared equipment. Infraspection analysts noticed the same flash. Quote, "A portion of the video showed a flash or pyrotechnic explosion in one portion of the building." End quote.
Non-pyrotechnic delivery systems were utilized to insert CS gas.
This pyrotechnic projectile was one of two found in the rubble of Mount Carmel. It is a 40-millimeter incendiary device that is fired from a handheld grenade launcher. This one was found here near the corner of Mount Carmel where the first fire was started. The other was found here in the kitchen dining room area.
trust me, friends, this is riveting. It will curl your eyelashes back the other way. Let me tell you, those of us who really are interested in this need this tape. 1-800-205-6245, $29.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. It is terrific. You need to watch it. You need to play it for all your friends, for everybody you know, because this is a very, very serious accomplishment these people have done here by putting this together. I know I say you're going to enjoy it. It will get your attention. Trust me on this one. Well, friends, we're very fortunate here in Northwest Louisiana to be near one of the great custom gun shops in the entire United States. Of course, we're talking about Clark Custom Guns, where you can get all sorts of work done on your fine semi-automatics or revolvers. And don't forget their .22 rifles based on the Ruger 1022. All these things are available in their catalog. You can take a look at them and get a price. You can call Clark Custom Guns, area 318-949-9884. Again, area 318-949-9884, and get their entire list of products. Give them a call today, and please tell them you heard it here on our program.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now, friends, recently one of our viewers, and loyal viewers might I add, Bruce Warren from up at BC Armory in East Leroy, Michigan, sent us some tape footage that he shot of the Iowa Pin Nationals, and we have some very fine shooting. And the object of a pin match literally is to knock the bowling pins off the tables as rapidly as possible. And Bruce got some good footage of this. Let's take a look at some of that now.
Guns on the rail. David Parker. On table number 4. Timer's ready. Shooter's ready. Guns on the rail. Ken Taft got that one. So, timer's ready. Shooter's ready. Guns on the rail. Okay, table number 6. Parker and Ken Taft. Timer's ready. Shooter's ready. Guns on the rail. And let's do it again. Shooter's ready. Shooter's ready. Guns on the rail. Ken Taft wins that for $55.
No surprise at all. Nice table, Ken.
Congratulations, Ken. Okay, shooters. Your guns are safe. Pin centers, you may go down range and reset. On the line, shooters. Timer's ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the radar. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the radar. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the radar. Shooter ready. Gun on the radar. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the radar. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail.
I'm Steve Dixon. Welcome to the 1997 North American Pin Shooting Championships. You're in Waterloo, Iowa. Great weather, good range, great match.
Commands are for table 3. On table 3. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail.
Ken, tap.
Ken, tap. Rail. Dixon. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Shooters. Line is ready. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Guns on the rail.
Hello, my name is Bruce, and we're coming to you today from East Leroy, Michigan. Today I'd like to show you my newest acquisition, my Sharps Buffalo rifle in .45-70 caliber. I use this in cowboy shooting matches, in particular the long range match. Real pleased with this rifle. It's a Buffalo model, weighs in about 10 pounds, 10 ounces, has a 24-inch barrel. Shoots 45-70, and in my case I use smokeless powder, not black. We shoot about 3 to 4 inch groups at 100 yards, which is more than adequate for what I aim at. And a little later in the tape, we'll take it outside. I have some milk jugs filled with colored water. We have some steel targets we can shoot, just to give you an idea of how the accuracy is on this particular weapon. Let me bring this in a little closer for you to see. If you're not familiar with the falling block action, to load the weapon, you pull down on the lever, which lowers the breech block, exposing the chamber, where you slide the shell in. Once you have the shell in place, pull up on the lever, and you'll notice we have 2 triggers. The front trigger is for general purpose shooting and has about a 12-pound trigger pull. If you want super light trigger pull, set the rear trigger, which allows the front trigger to trip at about 1 pound, I believe. Once the weapon is charged, you cock the hammer, set the rear trigger, and just touch the front one, and the hammer fires. Now, this particular model is blue with a color case-hardened frame. Although it isn't as fancy as some of the higher priced models, such as Shiloh, it does have some functional checkering on the buttstock. Accuracy is excellent. I shoot a 405 grain lead bullet, and as I said before, it's around 3 to 4 inches at 100 yards if I do my part. If you want to take a little walk with me outside to the range, we'll see how it shoots. We'll be shooting from inside my barn, off of a bench rest, at approximately 100 yards. Okay, we're coming under power.
Would like to thank our friend Bruce Warren of BC Armory there in East Leroy, Michigan, for going to the trouble, one, to go down to the pin match, take his camera, and do all that shooting. Also, we enjoy showing some of the viewer home video, which was, of course, there at Bruce's home, so we can show how people all over this country enjoy shooting guns, how they treat guns, and certainly their pet projects and what they enjoy doing. Friends, it is very, very important that we spread this message about how shooting can be fun, it is safe, it is something for the entire family to do. You can be in a variety of physical conditions. You know, on the tape there that Bruce shot, we saw literally descriptions of men and women of all, literally all size categories, whatever, all different statures there, but they could still be competitive. This is so important. It has to be done. Again, thanks to Bruce for going to all that trouble, and he is indeed justly proud of his Buffalo rifle there. You know, friends, we want to mention our shooting show support group. Let me mention Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie down with Custom Saddlery and Shoe Repair, Custom Leather Work and Saddlery there in Denham Springs, Louisiana. And where are we at on time there? We're pretty close. We got just a very limited amount of time here. In Denham Springs, it's area 504-667-9225. Again, 504-667-9225. And they can handle all your leather work. It is very important to us, the shooting show support group. We do appreciate you. Friends, we are locked in a battle. And let me mention again the Waco tape. You need to order Waco, the Rules of Engagement, because one, it not only indicts ATF and the FBI, it also indicts the U.S. Congress on how they handled it. You can get that through the American Freedom Network, which is, you can call 1-800-205-6245. Let me remind you to watch our gospel show on Sunday morning on G4 Channel 14 from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time. And also listen to our radio show, please, on the American Freedom Network, because we cover all kinds of things. That program comes on from noon until 2 o'clock Eastern Time on GE1 Channel 7, 5.8 audio. I hope to have the judge back on next week. Friends, whatever you can do to help us on this project. If you have a business, you can help sponsor our program. You can charge it off your taxes. It won't cost you anything. But this is a battle that has to be fought. I was talking with a friend earlier this week that it's not sometime in the future. It is now. The New World Order people are running to literally disarm every person, every civilian here in this country, and they're making huge strides in it. The only chance we have as shooters and gun owners is literally to educate as many Americans as possible. We can do it on television, but we have to be on television to do it. Again, thanks so much for being with us today. We appreciate all of you. We're very, very close on time. We look forward to seeing you on the next program. And please, friends, whatever you can do, send to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. We'll see you on the next show.